welcome back to my channel. If you're new, go hit the subscribe button down below. And if you're not new, welcome back to my channel. So today what we're going to be making is some paper flowers. So the way that I make them, so you can use these for like Mother's Day cards or decoration for your room. So here's one way that I've done it. So I just made a bunch of flowers and glued them to one large piece of scrapbooking paper. But, so if you want to do that, you will need a piece of scrapbook paper and any other paper of your choice. You can use scrapbook paper for the flowers. So this is one that I just barely made, and I'll show you how to make one just like this. So just let me grab my pad of paper. And even though like they do have patterns on them, it'll still look cute. So I think I'm just going to use... So I just decided to use this one that has kind of like butterflies and daisies on it. So I'm just going to actually grab a smaller piece of paper that's like not super cute, just to show you how I made a flower like this one.
I'm not sure where it is.
So I'm just going to use this gray piece of origami paper that my brother has used before, but he doesn't want to use it now. So I'm just going to teach you how to do this. Okay. I just need to grab some more school books for my tripod. Okay, that seems like a good angle, so I don't have to add this book. Okay, where should I put it? I'm just going to go put it away just really quickly. Okay, here we are with the good angle. Okay, so you're going to take your piece of paper, the color side that you want to use, put it face down onto your board, onto your surface, which is just for me a tabletop. So, and then you're just going to fold it like this, so it forms a triangle, and you will need a square piece of paper. And if you don't know how to make a square piece of paper on a regular piece of paper, you can obviously just like measure a square, or you can just, so let's pretend that this has an extra piece right here. So you can just fold up the bottom piece into a triangle like that and just cut off the excess, and it'll be a square. Okay, so let's just do this again. So fold it like this into a triangle, flip it, fold it again into another triangle, flip it again, and fold it into one last triangle. So you have this small triangle, okay? So then you're going to take the tip, and you're going to fold it over kind of like this. So pretty much like this. So you take your tip, and you're going to fold it down all the way to the bottom. Like that. And then you're just going to cut off this little tip, so you get yourself this little weird triangle thingamajigger. Okay, so then your next step is going to be, so on the side that is, let me just double check. Yeah, okay, yeah. So the side that does not have any folds is just like this. Not this side that opens, but the side that does not open. So you can flip it any way you want. Just make sure you always cut it on this side. So the way that I made this type of flower, as I'm going to show you specifically. Okay, so to make just a regular flower, remember, side that does not open, you're going to take your scissors on that side and cut a little rounded shape from the side that does not fold to the side that does fold. Well, open. Okay, so now to make this specific kind, so you can just leave it like this, or you can make it any shape that you really want. Okay, but to make this specific one like I was making, I'm just going to cut 3 slits like this, little triangles out of it, kind of like you're making a snowflake, how you would cut triangles out. Ew. So I'll be back to you when that's all done. Okay, so I have just cut out 3 little slits, so it kind of looks like a bird wing. So now we're just going to unfold this all the way. And there you have it. There's your little thing. It's actually kind of cute. It looks like a little snowflake. Okay. But now I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can cut your paper. So we're just going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use this nice large piece of paper. And depending on how you cut it, like if you cut off a lot, it might be a little bit smaller, but it'll be around this size as this piece of paper. So it's a little bit bigger than my head. And I'm a 10-year-old. I know. If you've ever seen my cousin, you'd see that she's kind of taller than me. She's 8. Yes, I'm pretty short, but I feel like I'm just short, but the rest of my body's pretty proportionate, so I wouldn't say my head's really small. So yeah, so I'm just going to fold this, and I'll be back to you when we get to the cutting portion. Okay, so I have folded it, and now we are at the stage where we would cut. Okay, so always remember, the side that does not open. So I'm just going to cut up at a little slight curve. So I'm not going to cut all the way. So it's just kind of like that. So I just cut off kind of a little triangle. And then, so I'm going to show you a few different ways. Okay, so I have these flowers. So to make a spiky flower, I don't even really remember how to do the spiky flower. But pretty much what you want to do is, let's say that, oh wait, no, this would not actually work. But I'm just going to use this because it kind of looks like it. So I'm just going to use it as a slight example. It's not going to unfold because it is just a scrap and not folded properly. So what you're going to do that is you're just going to go on the side that does not fold and cut up to the tip like that. And then go to the side that does fold and then cut another tip. Yeah. So it looks a little something like this. And of course, I can kind of prove that it would look like that because you can see that the little pieces look like that. But again, it was just a scrap. So that's how to make pointy flowers. The rest of them you can just curve, you can cut off more or less. So to do the smaller petals, you would cut off more. And to do these longer petals, you would cut off less. Okay, but let's get back to what we were doing over here. So you have your shape. Okay, so then after this, you are just going to kind of cut again, but then across. So it's kind of like a rounded area like this. Okay, so now at the top, I'm just going to cut those same little triangles that we cut out on the last one. Or instead of cutting triangles, you can cut jagged lines, but I feel like cutting triangles would make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so I have cut it out, and from this spot, you know when you like draw kind of like tulips, and like you draw the semicircle or like the U and do the little jaggeds, it kind of looks a really messy one of those if you just look at the top. Okay, so now we're just going to unfold this. Oh wait, one thing to note is this spot right here, you might want to straighten that up a little bit. So go straight up. Even though our piece is curved, you can make it go straight up. Okay, just to make it look a little bit better. We're unfolding. This is always the most exciting part, because you can see how your flower turned out. So this makes a jagged flower. I really personally think it looks pretty cute. Okay, so now we have our 2 purple flowers. And what I'm going to do, so I'm going to be making a layered flower. And that gray actually kind of looks kind of cute next to the... I have this big old scrap pile for making a bunch of previous flowers before I started this video. Scrap pile. Scrap pile. I didn't know if you could see it or not the first time. Okay, so to make a layered flower, so just grab some flowers that you would think look nice together. Grab a glue stick, and then right in the center of your biggest flower that you want to be the bottom layer, put a nice big glob of glue and add on your second flower. And keep doing that until you've added all your flowers. And you can move it around, so instead of them being right on top of each other, in this gap, this next flower can be kind of covering right there in that gap. So add as many flowers as you would like. So I'm just going to add in our example gray one because it actually looks kind of cute. So they have a layered flower. And then with this scrap thing that I got, it's just kind of weird. I cut it out of that one flower that you saw over there. Oh no, the cap to my glue just fell on the floor. Where did you go? Come back. Okay, found it. Okay, so I'm just going to take this scrap and I'm just going to cut a circle out of this. Actually, I need to go grab a pen. Okay, so I just grabbed a pencil, so let's just move that over to the side for a minute. So find a nice spot if you're using a tie-dye like I am, which you probably aren't, but if you are, or using multicolored, find a spot that you like the color. And I'm just going to trace around our glue cap. And of course, you could just go on the back of the paper, but then you couldn't really see what color you would want if you're using a multicolored like me. So I'm just going to cut it off, trying to cut off as much of the pencil line as I can. Okay, so I cut it out, and then to get rid of that pencil line, I would recommend using a pencil instead of a pen, because you can erase pencil, but you can't not erase pen. Okay, so now what you're going to do, instead of putting it on the flower, put it on the circle, so then the whole circle will be sticking down. Okay, so I got our glue on. And now I'm just going to add it right to the center of our flower. And if you're interested in learning how to bake, go subscribe to my second channel, which I will link in the description box down below. Okay, so here's our cute layered flower. So now I'm just going to move all this stuff out of the way. Okay, pencil falling. Okay, so now since this one is pretty big, it pretty much covers the whole paper. So I'm just going to put a nice little dot in the center and place it down in the middle. So you could just leave it like this and write a little note around these sides. Or you could add more little flowers around the sides. So I'm going to add I don't really want to cut any more out. So I'm just going to write a nice little note. Okay, so while it was on pause, I just added some borders around this little swirly one and then the little humps. So what you can do is, if you don't really like it popping out because you're scared that it's going to fall off, but you still want it to be a little bit 3D, on the bottom layer, just like this, you can flip it up, add a little touch of glue, and then push it down, and it'll still be a little bit 3D. But then, if that's not working, you can just take it off, and it's falling apart. I'll be back to you when I glue it back together. Okay, so a better technique to glue it down, as I just found, is you can do a big swirl in the middle for attaching bigger ones, but then the little ones will stay nicely attached with just a little dot. Okay, there we go. That should stick nicely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it over, flatten it a little bit to make it easier to put the glue, and you do a glue ring like we did on the last one. But instead of going all the way in, I'm going to do a little one around and a little one in the middle, and then just push it back. This will make it so you can still move it around. You'll not move it around, but it'll still be more 3D. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit more glue on this one and recenter it. So to find the center, just find the middle fold. So mine would be right here. But sometimes if you're making bigger ones, you kind of lose the middle because you kind of fold a little bit wonky. So just find the best middle. So here's this. So now I'm just going to grab my markers again. I'm just using Crazy Art. Not sponsored, but those are just the markers I'm going to use. So then I'm just going to grab a nice color. So I think I'm going to use this dark blue. I'm going to just write a little note to my mom. And make sure when you're writing, so since you're going to be writing in corners, Hold down in that corner so you don't write anywhere where it'll get covered up. Because if you're not holding it up, you might write a little bit under here, and then it'll just get covered up by the flower. So I just wrote Dear Mom so far.
Cute. Yeah.
Oops, okay, I forgot to pause it, but that's alright. Okay, so you were just sitting through that. I'm sorry about that. Okay, but I'm just going to show you what I wrote. So I wrote, Dear Mom, I love you so much. Thank you for everything you do for me. You are pretty like a flower. And I hope you enjoy this gift and have a happy Mother's Day. And as you can see over here, I was trying to write around the flower. And when I was writing flower, I kind of messed up a little bit because there was not enough space. Okay, so to add a little bit more of a gift element, more than just a card, you can just leave it a card. But I just have some candy bars. Okay, this is not a big enough piece of tape. So you're going to want to get a piece of tape that you can tape it down with. So that should be very large. And then just tape it down with the little candies all around. And if you don't want to put tape on the flower, just kind of put the tape underneath the flower, like this. So I'm just going to add a few of those. And since I used, oh gosh, that was the tape leaning against the table. But since I used 100 gram bars, right on the top, I'm going to write a little note related to that candy. Okay, so we have our flower, we have our note, and we have our candy, and then our little thing up at the top. And last but not least, what you have to do is, of course, say that it's from you.